Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, Dr. Lori Monaco. I am a chiropractor. I am a teacher, speaker, coach. I specialize in mindfulness-centered coaching and workshops. I am here to transform you. And I work especially with women who are dealing with depression and anxiety or just general sadness, undiagnosed depression, who feel stuck and have to start over in their lives and blah, 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 all that lovely stuff that I had to do myself. And I am very proud to say that I have lots of experience in that. And so that's what I do. And I'm also an author, and I'm a weight loss and wellness specialist. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Buenos días, mi gente. Good morning, badass Buddha. Here it is, just cold. I'm here still in Connecticut, and I'm cold. Tengo frío. Who am I? Soy la Margarita, la mujer completa, your gladiator guru. Here we are. I am your writer, artist, author. Sacred healer, your spiritual coach. I am your end-of-life doula, and something is coming up with the end-of-life doula pretty soon, so stay tuned. I am your magically orgasmic goddess in awe of herself. I am La Margarita, your gladiator guru. Good morning, buenos dias, namaste.
Good morning to everyone who jumped on so rapidly. Milagros, Attica, Tiffany, Janet, good morning. And
Buenos
remember,
dias.
make sure that when you come on to the show, you write into the comments so that we know you're there. I mean, we do watch the Facebook scroll, but it is nice to see you pop up and say hi to the tribe, because we love when you acknowledge the tribe as well, not just us, but you acknowledge the tribe. So, and the tribe loves it too.
And I love my tribe. And for mi gente out there, Feliz Dia de los Reyes. Happy Three Kings Day, mi gente.
Ah, yes. Yes.
There's nothing more beautiful than celebrating two Christmases when you're broke. So enjoy.
So does the Christmas tree come down tomorrow then? That's what usually happens.
And for us, it always goes on the day after Thanksgiving and comes down the day after Three Kings Day, because how dare you, And I'm really hoping, because, although I'm somebody who really doesn't like routine and I'm just trailblazer, I like to do my thing, I love traditions. And my cultural Boricua, Puerto Riqueña traditions are so beautiful. And I think that the generation of my kids, the parents of my grandkids, they have been like veering off of tradition to where it's like you want to slap them when you go out. Like me, you couldn't enter or leave somebody's house without saying bendición and kissing every face that was in there. And then don't you leave without saying goodbye, because then that would be disrespectful. That would be humiliating your parents. You had to say kiss and say goodbye to every motherfucker on your way out.
Even the ones you don't like.
Yeah. And the thing is, that always that drunk Tio Louis or that gossiping Titi Rosa, there's always one in every family, right? And you're like, oh, here we go. And then you always had to say bendición to your elders. You walk in, you say bendición. It don't matter if it's an aunt, it don't matter if it's your aunt's husband, sister, it doesn't matter. They were there, they were elder, you would say bendición. And going and coming on the phone, whatever. And my kids were raised to say that. They still say it to me now. They'll call me no matter who they're in front of. Bendición, Dios te bendiga. That's what I say. My grandkids, they call me bendición, abuela. I got Mateo. I taught Mateo how to say bendición. But I'm not perfect. There's a lot of traditions that I let fall to the wayside. But I think that for those, no matter what your age status is today, and you're continuing the traditions, the Puerto Rican traditions that we were raised on here on the mainland, keep it going. Don't stop. I don't want my grandkids to stop, because when I'm no longer here, I want them to carry that love of their heritage, that love of the traditions, that love that no matter if you know each other, but you're out in the street and somebody hears you say bendición, they're gonna like, oh, you're going to make a difference. You're going to remind, you're going to invoke happy childhood memories. You're going to get that thread going again. So don't stop being who you are. Don't stop your traditions of your grandparents. Here on Three Kings Day that we celebrate really huge in Puerto Rico with the hay under the bed, pa'lante mi gente.
Well, actually, what's interesting about you mentioning to not stop that, which really kind of it opposes the conversation in a way. Well, so you choose to do that, and when you said that your children, your grandchildren don't really do that anymore, but that's their choice, right?
No,
So
my kids and my grandkids do continue the
other
tradition. They
generations.
don't have a choice because it's what we teach them. And traditions aren't something I think that you can just ignore, because then who are you if you're not keeping the thread of who came before you? So I'm really big on ancestral happenings, and because that's just respect. When you say bendición, you're teaching your children how to respect their elders wherever they're at, to acknowledge their elders, and to just have this modicum of respect that's unspoken. When you don't teach your kids to speak your language, when you don't teach your kids the traditions of your ancestors, of what made you who you are, then to me, my opinion, because we're going to be in authorized living today, living without permission, when you fail to teach your children their heritage, their traditions, their language, no matter where you live, then that, to me, my opinion, you're failing as a parent. And that's me coming from an Italian mother and a Puerto Rican father who loves my language. I learned that at 14 how to read, write, and everything because I took an interest in it. But my kids, they had no choice. 1 hour a day since they were little, we had to speak Spanish in the house. I don't care where we were. Spanish for 1 hour a day. And today they're fluent. They could defend themselves, and they have a passion for their tongue. When the words flow off their tongue, they feel like they belong. They're not only stuck in this English, my parents didn't teach me bullshit. But that's me. Rant over.
Right, but to be unauthorized, to do unauthorized living, you do what you do as the parent and you teach them, but what the child chooses to do after is up to them. So if they choose to continue with the traditions, that's up to them. That would be unauthorized living, that you're not requiring
No,
permission.
yeah, I don't agree with that. Okay, I'm the matriarch of this family.
Hmm.
So when my grandkids come in, whether they want to speak Spanish or not, they know, just like breathing, that they have to say bendición. They have to acknowledge me in a certain way because I am who I am in their lives, and I taught them that. And that's a respect level. That's not I want to wear pink sneakers today and no panties. That's their unauthorized living. But when it comes to tradition
So
and
it's conditional, is
honoring your
what you're saying.
elders, there's really no room to say, well, I don't feel like doing it. Just like when you raise your children on God and the church, when your children come of age, they decide whether they're going to continue to go to church or follow this certain religion or become spiritual or an atheist. That's going to be their choice later on in life. But the seed had been planted. So that's what you do when
But
it
don't
comes.
you think it's disrespectful for if you raised your child a certain way in a certain religion and they choose not to follow that? Don't you think that's disrespectful? It's the same
No,
thing.
because because we don't. Respect is like saying good morning, or the respect is acknowledging your parents and the people who came before you. You're introducing them. When it comes to religion, I was raised Catholic. My baptism, my what is it, communion, my
Communion,
catechism, all that
confirmation, I
was
went the whole
done
way.
at St. Augustine's Church on Washington Avenue. Is still standing strong. That's the infamous church with the pastor had a sex shop in New Haven. Let's put that out there. No, I think unauthorized living is when respect is one thing. Your child does not have the right at any age to be disrespectful towards you or any adult, anybody older than them. See, what happens is the way the parenting has happened is once a kid is 18, oh, but that's how they are. No, we still have to guide them. You will acknowledge your elders. You
Do
will
you think that
acknowledge the people you walk in.
do you think that if the parent is disrespectful to the child, the child has the right to disrespect the parent?
No,
Really?
no, I
Wow.
don't. I think if there's still this, it's an honor, it's a respect. So you think that if you have to call your child out, if they're doing something, no matter where you are, and you have to say, girl, stop it. Stop it. We'll talk about this later. That then you can say, oh, shut up.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
talk to me
I'm
like that,
not
I'll slap
disagreeing
you.
with you there. What I'm saying is that if your parent is completely disrespectful to you your whole upbringing, I mean, I
Mhm.
have heard some hellacious stories of how parents have treated their children, things that they've said. You think that they earned the right to be respected by their child?
I don't think it's a right, like, you to be respected. When you raise your child to respect and honor, they will know how to behave in certain circumstances when it comes to their elders and their family. So I knew, and I've been through it with my parents. But if my mother behaved a certain way in front of people, I would hold my tongue, even though I didn't like her. I would hold my tongue because she is my mother. And no, I came from there. I don't think you should ever disrespect your parents in front of anybody. That's a conversation to be had behind closed doors when you're speaking to your parent, regardless of your relationship with them. That's what's wrong with society today. When you live like that, that's when your child goes in and blows up schools. When you feel that, oh, well, I gotta respect their privacy. You don't got privacy until you pay bills. And that's where I think a lot of parents have gone to the wayside, where they feel that, oh, I'm not going to say nothing because, she doesn't like that. She's going to get upset. Too fucking bad. When you're living under certain, you got to teach your child that life is not going to be easy, and it starts at home. So I think that and it's true, Argenis, when you don't respect your parents, you would never honor and respect anybody else. So you're going to always be falling on your face and blaming the world. Okay, my rant is over. But unauthorized living has nothing to do with honoring and respecting or following tradition. To me, unauthorized living is discovering who the hell you are,
Right.
building that moral compass, identifying what your values are, and then living without worrying about what society says, what your friends say, what your husband, what your wife says. It's about saying, I
What your
don't
family
want to
says?
be a housewife. I want to go out there and be a masseuse. I want to go out there and be an accountant. And I'm going to have to learn how to balance life in that. And they're going to have to honor what it is I want to do. That's unauthorized living. When it comes to your children, you have to have a modicum of respect. My children are 35 and 31, and they know, and I can bring them on live and tell you that if they ever cross the line with me, no matter where we're at, the Pope's place, the president's office, I will drop them where they stand at their ages. Why? Because I am your mother. And if I do something wrong, then you could say, Mom, you're wrong. Can we talk about this? And we talk about it. Or I don't agree with you, Mom. I raised them to be that forward, where if I'm wrong, they're going to say, Mom, please, that's wrong. Let's go over. Let me explain it. Or, you know what? Can we talk about this later? Because what you're saying is not correct, and I'm upset. I have to honor them. But no,
I
no,
agree
no,
with
no.
you. I agree with you on the respect piece. I was playing devil's advocate because the bottom line is this, that a lot of times family has an idea of who you're supposed to be because of what their idea of you is, and
What do you mean, like trying to get you to be something, force something on you? Is that what you're saying?
well, I mean, like, if listen, you are who you are, right? You're unapologetically you. You say it all the time. And you say that if people don't agree with who you are, then screw them. Like that's on them. Like,
Fuck them.
and so if you walked in and you were being yourself, and somebody was saying in the room, family, for instance, saying, can you like not be that loud or be
All
that
the
like
time. They say it
vulgar?
all the time. I'm
Because
too loud.
it's disrespecting the priest or the person that's here, that's like a person that they find respectful. And so the respect piece gives you the ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just going to remove myself from the room. Correct.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's the difference. So that's what I was trying to play devil's advocate. Yes, I am a full big proponent of respect. And I also believe too, though, that if you respect even your children, not let them do whatever the hell they want, but I'm saying if you show respect, and unauthorized living for me is just me being me. So if I'm going to be a jerk to my kids because I'm in a bad mood and snap at them, I do. And then I will tell them afterwards, listen, this is why I did this. And I'm not saying it to,
Absolutely. Your child
and,
is human.
and you're just being you. But I love the idea of just being, unauthorized living for me is just me communicating properly to whoever, even my children. And so I ask them for the respect, and I expect the respect from them as well. And I respect them. Like, I don't want to shame them in front of people. I've had that happen to me before. I've had that by my parents,
And you
and it just
shouldn't.
sucks.
But they
Right.
should also know
Exactly.
that if you misbehave in front of people, we are going to treat them, if when we try to cover the sun with our hands, we're doing such a disadvantage to our child. When we don't want to say anything because we're going to offend our child or they're going to put them in a bad mood, we're doing nothing to instill endurance and perseverance in our
Yes.
child.
Yes. And
Our
resilience.
child, I would never get around and disrespect my children, but I always taught my kids since they were little, if you act up, wherever you act up is the same location you're going to get corrected. I don't play that wait till we get home bullshit. A lot can happen from there. Transporting home, you're tired, you're in a bad mood, go to your room, nothing gets resolved. There's no lesson learned.
Yes. We
Okay.
just jumped right into the conversation today. This is fabulous. Look it
But
up.
the thing is that when we fail, now let me tell you, I respect my children. Since they were little, I told my kids, I've always been upfront and honest with my kids. I've always told my kids since they were little, you can be anything you want, but you got to put in the work. I told my
Yes.
daughter, if you want to go out there and be a whore, then you be the best high class, high paying whore that there exists.
Yeah, none of this like, $5.
We're not talking
art.
little. We're
No.
not talking little. Whatever you decide. And she's like, Mom. And I said, I'm just letting you know that there's really, whatever you choose to be, I'm going to back you up. Just be
Yes.
the best at it.
Right. And
Be the best.
but you saying that shows that you're respecting your child too, because it's you're respecting the fact that you're confident that they can make their own choice. And listen, this isn't just about a conversation about respect. It's about unauthorized living is living to who you're meant to be. Like,
But
not getting
respect plays a
permission.
part when you're living, because if you cannot live unauthorized without permission, if you don't have the utmost respect in you and in decisions you make and how you stand in front of people in
Oh yeah.
society and your fake friends,
Yes.
and how you stand there and says,
Respect
fuck
for
it, this
yourself.
is who I am. You don't like it, you know I'm loud. You know I'm opinionated. And the thing is to say, wait a minute, I'm not gonna go over to my son-in-law's house because his he has people over there, and I might say, I know who I am, and I know that, you know what, I suffer from foot in the mouth syndrome. I'm sure Liza can understand me in that part.
We need to
But the
get on
thing
this
is that,
show.
what I think living unauthorized is being mindful. That's what people forget. Being mindful, being true to who you are. But you know what? It's not causing any ripple effects around you. It's just walking in the room and people are already going to know, who you are, your essence, your spirit's going to walk in before you. It's about having respect and demanding it, not hoping they respect you back. But when you walk in, I like to, how you doing? How you doing? I kiss even strangers because that's just our culture to walk in and kiss somebody.
Yes, mine too. So John says, LOL, I told Gabe the same thing. Ditto. He came up to nervous. He doesn't want to be a barber. And I noticed how hard it was for him to say that. I said, well, okay, cool. He says, oh, you're not mad, my no little man. What do whatever you do, just make sure it's something you like and move it and make good money and don't complain about it. Yes, right. Absolutely.
Dito, yeah, because because he honors you. That's why he felt bad. He
Let's
honors you, and he thought he was going to offend you,
yeah.
Pookie. And the thing is that our children will do that. They
Dito.
will do that. Why? Because they
I
honor
said it
us.
like a white girl. Sorry. Let's bring Liza up because we're getting so into this conversation. So let's see what Liza's got to say.
Come on,
about
Liza,
this.
Liza, habla, dígame.
Liza
Háblame de
in
ti.
the house. All right, you've been hearing us.
Yes, I've heard a lot.
Let's hear, my love. Let's hear. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm so glad to see my girls, my girls. How are you?
Good, good. So what do you think? Unauthorized living. What do you think?
I feel so I'm on the fence I'm on the fence with a couple of things because that's always been me. I mean, that's how I winded up in massage school. I was in the middle of getting a second master's after grad school. I was going back to school to get a second master's degree, right? And in public health. And I dropped it. And they said to me, don't drop it. You're going to pay, because when you drop in the middle of a program, especially when they have these deadline days, you get penalized. So I got penalized for $800 that I had to pay when I left the program to go to massage school. I was ridiculed. What the fuck are you doing? How are you leaving a second master's to go to massage school?
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's where the spirit led me. It led me to go to massage school. I don't know what it is, what's going on, but I finished it. Lori, and then I winded up teaching there, and it just led me to the right path to open up my business.
Yes.
So if I didn't listen, if I lived authorized, the way that's structured, right? And then listen to people and not, and not be the free person that I am and follow my internal GPS. We all have an internal GPS system. And unfortunately, we don't listen to it because of what might turn up. It's like, what? It's telling me to do that? That doesn't sound. Yes,
It's
it is.
telling me to take a left, and I'm positive I have to take a right.
Correct. Yeah. So when you start to train yourself, people will look at it as living unauthorized when you turn all the way to the left and be like, what the fuck is she doing? What did she just say? Why is she acting like that? What is it? First person.
Come mierda.
Right. So for me, I think I don't. Here's the kicker to that. I don't feel that unauthorized living is for everyone.
No, it's not.
It takes a certain type of person to live that way. And I'm going to tell you why, because certain souls, right? We're soulful creatures, right? We're not physical beings. We're soulful creatures, right? Soulful beings, right? I don't want to use the word creatures, but soulful beings. And I feel that if there's something gnawing at you, this is how I know that you need to have this need to step into the realm of the unknown. So you know what's going on.
Living without permission.
Right.
Not in the walls that we created from around.
Correct. Us. Right. Doesn't matter how you were raised. It doesn't matter. Now the tradition that you're talking about the bendición. I had to say it growing up. I had to say son tía, son tío. I had to say all of that. I mean, I didn't feel uncomfortable saying it, but I don't now, everybody's gone. I haven't passed down the tradition.
People tell me that.
Everybody's gone. They don't do it everyone's like gone. People have died. It's like,
and I haven't together as much.
Yeah, we're not together as much. My husband's African American. I only speak English in the house. My son does speak Spanish because I put him in a Spanish program since kindergarten all the way to high school. So he's bilingual.
Yes, good.
The youngest, he's bilingual because I made that clear. You have to learn the language. But I didn't want to impose my inherited upbringing on him. I didn't feel that I wanted to do that because he was an individual. And I wanted to treat my kids as individuals because I knew what I was dealing with. I knew what I was working with. And I knew who I was. I was like, I'm this out of the box, not, out of the box mother. You know what I mean? I went to massage school. I went to yoga school. I'm a little out there. People can see that I'm a little out there. I'm not. It's like when you have that railroad houses. You ever been to Brooklyn and all the houses look the same, and then there's one pink one in the middle.
Yeah. Right. The Pepto-Bismol house.
Right. The Pepto-Bismol house. Right. And you're like, what the hell? I know that happens for me. I feel it when I go into a room, when I go in the crowd, be like, who is this girl? What is when my husband, how did you guys get together? I don't see it. I don't see the connection. Lori has met my husband. I don't see the connection.
Well, he was on the show. He's very straight. He's seems very.
That's right. He was on the show.
He seems normal.
Yeah, thank you. Like he's normal, right? He's normal, right? So then how do we get together? So that's going back to that question. I don't feel it's for everybody. It's not for everybody. Because if you don't have a strong foundation and a sense of who you are and that internal GPS system, you're not attached to it where you know that, hey, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's my grandmother. This is what I have to do. I'm driven to do this, to go here. You may not know why. You may not have the answer. I didn't know why I was going to massage school. I had no fucking idea. I just knew that I was driven there.
But unauthorized living is saying that you get to be you. In other words, you
Right.
don't need somebody's permission to be
Right.
you. So
Right.
you
And
don't think
I was,
that's for everybody? Like I think everybody has the right. I think it is the right of being a human to be
right.
who you are. Like you
Right.
have the right. It's we choose not to. That's the thing. And sometimes it's chosen for us, but either way, we have allowed it. You know, like you have some of these kids who just they get pushed by their parents to be a certain way and follow a
Right.
certain thing,
I
and
was
then the
pushed.
kids just don't push back. You know, but
Right.
they
I was
never
pushed to go to
really,
nursing school.
and they're never really happy. They're never or they are, but they're not living their best life
No.
or maybe they are. Sometimes they are, but there's still that little bit. Like, did anybody ever say to you, what do you really want to be? Who do you really want to be?
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. I wanted to be, my whole goal was I wanted to be a dancer. I went to dance school when I was young. That's what I did. But something interrupted that, right? So then I got this gig, I got this break from my dance teacher. I'll never forget it, Miss Melanie. Love Miss Melanie. I don't know if she's around anymore. But I was dancing and she says, listen, I got you a audition to the Rockettes. We're going
Wow.
downtown, right? And like that was my dream. Like I was going down to the Rockettes. I said, here we go. We know. Meanwhile, while that was happening, people were in my ear, right? Oh no. Oh no. You can't. That's what you're gonna make a living off? That's a bad life. You won't make it. Right? Meanwhile, I was dancing my ass off, modern jazz, flips. I was doing everything for years. I got down there, and because they were in my ear, you ready for this? Because they were in my ear, my family who didn't know better, I got down there. I was the only person of color down that time. I saw all these white people. And my dance teacher was next to me, and she was like, don't worry, it's okay. I can't go out there. I can't do it. I got in, I'm going in the back, whatever. She was like, I can't do it. And I ran out. And she had to follow me out. And I never made it to the stage to audition. I left the audition. I begged her not to make me do it because I heard that stupid voice. I couldn't do it. I'm not good enough. I think that's when I started my road. After I learned who I was, right. And I learned I still wanted to use my body, winded up in yoga school, winded up doing all these things, teaching yoga throughout the cities of New Rochelle. I was downtown. I did a couple classes in Connecticut. I was doing all this stuff. And then, I realized that I have to live outside of the box because I don't have a choice. It goes back to what I was saying. This life, living unauthorized is not for everybody. You have to know what you said, Gladiator Guru. You have to know who you are. I found out who I was late, right? Late, which then led me down this road of going to get a master's degree in education. Don't want to teach in a classroom because there are other teachers there. My mother was like, well, go be a nurse. I'm a nurse. I was a nurse 35 years. You could be a nurse. Then when you want to work with the public, go back in, I'll help you. Get in the second master's in public health. What is all this education? Didn't do shit for me. I wasn't happy. So I did a 360 turnaround and left everybody drop dead on the floor. They were like, oh,
good
massage school, living unauthorized. I didn't give a shit what anybody said. I'm doing what I'm going to do. And I don't care what anybody says or think because I know that my walk is my walk. Why are you trying to walk with me?
That's it. You know what? I'm a street dancer. I learned salsa in the streets, Ocho Beat, not in class 1, 2, 3. I go out places. I'm like, oh, they learn how to dance salsa in the school because you can hear them counting. Okay, that took me away, but it just goes to the fact that living unauthorized. I've always lived unauthorized. I've always been the black sheep of the family. I've always been the troublemaker, the opinionated, the one who thinks she knows it all. And I'm okay. I own all that. Now, going back to talk about traditions, my husband it's going to be 5 years that he passed away, was a country from Georgia, raised in Florida, country bumpkin, African American. And I taught him salsa. But you know what I'm saying is living unauthorized, it didn't matter where I was. Wherever I was, I honored how I was raised. So I can be anywhere and I'm still Margarita. Don't call me Margarita. I don't care who you are. You better try to put. And I tell people, oh, I can't do it. And I said, think of it as tongue exercise. Who doesn't want a very flexible tongue? Anywho, I'm trying to teach people something here just by saying my
Margarita.
name. They're not getting it. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I loved walking in as a child and saying, bendición, abuela, bendición, papi, and listening to them say, Dios te bendiga, mama.
Right.
Those words invoke so many happy childhood memories in my today that, you know what? Maybe it was selfish, or maybe it was for them to hold on to a tradition that we're going so far away from just honorifics towards our elders in our in our culture, that these kids are lost nowadays. In my opinion, they don't
Kids are
honor
lost.
their elders.
They are lost. Yeah, they're
So
freaking lost. These kids. I mean, I think the home is the first classroom, right? We know that the home. You're the teacher before they even step into the public school system or private school, wherever the hell you want to send your child. You know, they're like recorders. I mean, they recording everything that you're doing.
everything.
You know what I mean? Like a Jewish, the Jewish, you know, it's funny because they believe in this, and this is, you know, and not saying that it's right or wrong, but they say, you know, give me a child for 7 years and I'll show you a man. Right? Because it's the first 7 years of life that they're downloading this recording.
That's right.
But they're to this child. But that's everybody doing that. It's not just the Jewish people. It's everyone's, you know, they're instilling these systems in these children. And why you think some of these kids grow up fucked up? Because they weren't given a chance to develop and figure out who they are and what they want to do and who they want to become. And because they were being thrown and like it's like backward vomit. You know, back into this is my shit. I'm gonna throw it back on you because I wasn't successful. I wasn't able to accomplish the shit I'm gonna. So since I have a couple kids, let me see which one will complete what I started but didn't get to finish it. So I'm gonna invoke my shit onto my child so they can finish it.
Yeah,
What
and
I
that's
didn't
awful.
finish.
And that's awful. But
That's
you know
not
what?
right.
You said something earlier that resonates deeply. You said what they thought they were doing good. See, when you look back in hindsight at your parents, you realize that they did the best they could with what they had at that time.
And what they knew.
And because they didn't know much, because they weren't allowed to air their dirty laundry. And I don't care what culture you're from. I think this crosses all boundaries.
It's across the board. Right.
I agree.
They weren't allowed to air their dirty laundry. You keep that. Nobody needs to know. Hush it.
Right.
Sweep it under the rug, whatever analogy you want to use for it. And I think that our generation, we grew up watching that. And some of us from jump said, I'm not going to do that. And some of them grew into their teenage years and then they decided, wait, they want me to do this. I don't want to do that. And then some went into college, whatever the case may be. My father always thought that I was brilliant, rest his soul. My mother always thought I was going to be a piece of shit like my father, rest her soul. So you grow up with both. So what was I stuck with? I wasn't stuck. I was given this great gift to take both sides, and which I did, and then form my own motherfucking mountain and climb that bitch at my pace.
Right.
You know what? Yes, unauthorized living isn't for everybody. Some people get it early. Some people get it later on in life. Some people never get it. And those are the ones stuck on judgment, ignorance, always sensitive. So, you know, I wrote a piece that says that I've walked with people, philosophers, anyone you meet that just talks and then they give you a word here, or they share a story that you feel it in your soul because, you know, you said human and you said creatures. And you know what? We're living in a spiritual warfare. And half the time it is with the image that's looking back at us from the mirror. So be unauthorized. Don't worry about what your kids are going to think. Don't worry about what your spouse, what your parents. You're at an age right now, you shouldn't give a shit about saying, I'm going to walk this path and not
never did
for anybody that comes my way. Not, you know, there's no ill intentions to hurt or hinder anybody in my family, anybody I know, but raise the level of my spirit to walk the path that I was born to walk. That is unauthorized living.
Anymore. I really don't. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
So basically though, unauthorized living means that you don't need the permission, right? But sometimes people do need to the permission of unauthorized living to get going, because they just don't, like, they don't, like, you said something that was pretty poignant, Gladiator Guru. You said about how with parents, they do the bit, they did the best they could with the information that they had, like that. But then I challenge that too, because it's because they were not living in their own self. Because to me, it's like, you grow, you question. That's just human nature. And if they're living a certain way and behaving a certain way because that's how it was passed on to them, then they were waiting for somebody to give them permission to be somebody else. And the reason I say this, because my grandmother, check this out. Actually, I'm sorry, my great grandmother came from Italy. This is my mom's mother's mother. And this lady was unfreaking believable. So she was born in the, late 1800s. And this lady, talk about being like, not looking for any type of permission to be who she was. This was a time when women were pretty quiet. Like, although Italian moms have never, they always ran the roost, but outwardly, right? So her husband had a business. My great grandfather had a business, and he sold ice, right? Blocks of ice, because they didn't have refrigerators, right? And she would, if his workers didn't go, like they were sick or something, she would go, and she would be lugging these pieces of ice with him in work. And one day she decided she didn't like the house that they were in anymore. Like, she didn't like it. So she went and she told the husband, I don't want to live here anymore. I want to buy another house. And he said, okay, whatever. And she went and looked, and she found the house. She went to the real estate agent. She said, I want this house. And this was a time when women didn't buy houses. And he said, well, I need to talk to your husband. And she's like, no, you need to talk to me, in her broken English. And she said, this is what I want. I want this house. You finalize the paperwork with my husband, because she couldn't finalize the paperwork because that's just not the way it was done. But she did things the way she wanted to do. She was very bold. And I loved that. I love the fact that she left her country and just said, I am going to be me, and I'm going to be the best version. And the interesting thing was, my grandmother, so her daughter, wasn't as bold as her mother. And then my mother wasn't as bold as her mother. And it went opposite down. All of a sudden, people needed permission to be who they were. And I saw this, this come down the line, and getting to me as well, to where I fought it because I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that. But in the end, there was still a lot of influence until I became a fucking middle-aged woman and finally said, fuck all of you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I'm going to be, I don't need your permission. I'm giving myself the permission, and I'm going to live this way. And so I think that I don't care when people get it. Just get it.
Just get it.
Who you are. Just live
exactly.
Just like you were beautiful, Gladiator Guru, because you decided at a young age to say, fuck you. I'm going to live the way, because your parents were so polar opposite, and they were saying one thing to you and one thing to you, and there was a lot of dysfunction. And so you said, screw it. I'm going to give myself permission. I'm not waiting for these two to give me permission. I'm going to be who I want. Although your dad was influential. Your dad did give you permission to be you.
And my mom did in her own way by allowing me to see her weaknesses. See, I always considered my mom weak and pathetic. And I considered my father to be the gardener of my roots, planting wisdom. Now, mind you, my mom cried because she had a deep missing. And my father planted seeds of wisdom, but he was like this total fuck up alcoholic and smoked crack. But having them as my parents is what all of that trauma, all of that grief was put into motion before my spirit existed in this realm, because it is what cultivated me to be who I am today, thanks to my parents. Now, the insight to have learned that at a young age, I give praise to God, because that he allowed me to see that inner light in me. And no, not everybody goes through that. But then, you know what? I pray to God, nobody ever goes through being molested for years beginning at the age of 6 from a stepfather, and a mother not hugging you. And then all of this other stuff that follows. You know what? I love that I have always lived without permission. I always,
I think
that cliche is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. It is so true in my life. But I just think that everything happens for a reason, and every fall down that happens to you, Liza, like with the Radio City Music Hall, every time you drop like that, that wasn't an opportunity you missed. That was the beginning of a new you being formed.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it was like a teaser. Okay, I'm gonna give you this, but you're not gonna do that. But it's just to let you know that there's nothing you cannot do.
Yes.
right, right.
That's
And I
living
think,
unauthorized when you're paying attention.
yeah, and I think that's key there, paying attention and not paying attention to anybody else. Because we always find, like, we always think about it. We humans in general always feel like they need a leader to lead them. You're a leader. Lead yourself. You can't sit there and wait for a leader to lead the flock. What does he want me to do? What does she want me to do? You can't do that. What do you want to do? What is the spirit telling you to do? What
What
is
do
your
you
purpose?
Or
Right?
you can be led as long as you know that you're being led to find your purpose. Because sometimes you do need that influence. You need that person to put it in a different perspective, but still
You
come out
do.
with your own thing.
You do, but you're right. You do see, you
Follow
do need some
blindly.
influence. You do need some influence, but when I see influence coming, right? That's like a show for yourself. You guys need to do a show about influence. Influence is like a big topic.
It
I'm
is.
like the queen of influence, okay? Because I don't let influence come in my way, because I'm going to tell you why.
And you have to be yes.
Influence, yeah, influence. You have to understand intention in order
Oh
to
yes.
understand influence,
Yes.
right? So you have to understand intention. What do I mean by that? What is that person's intention, and why are they influencing you? What is their reasoning for influencing you, and what is the intention behind it? If you're not paying attention, we're going back to what Gladiator Guru was saying, paying attention. If you're not paying attention to these things that we are like oblivious to, we have to find that center and go back to self. If I didn't listen to myself, I would have never finished massage school. I would have never had this business. I would have never be in this show right now talking about it, because I wouldn't exist, because I wouldn't have met Dr. Lori, and
Yeah.
do you see what I'm saying? Like these chain of events. So this is what I'm saying. I am so strong and planted in my feet, and my roots are grounded, that I know that nobody can influence me, and nobody I have chosen to live unauthorized, and I will do that to the day I die. Whatever that means, that's what it is. I will have attack here. I will have an attack here. Somebody will come at me this way, this way, this way, this.
Wait, and you brought up, this is exactly, oh my God, that's so funny you said that, because this is what I wanted to say. This is how you know you're doing it right, when you piss people off, because there will always be people that do not like you because of who you are. I mean, I listen, I know, I mean, I fell in love with Liza the moment that I met her.
Me too.
She was
Me
never a student of mine, but
No,
but
I
you and
wasn't.
I became friends once you were like just about graduating, and you were never a student of mine. You were never in my classes, but then we
No.
like connected afterwards. But let me tell you, this girl, she pissed off some people, like you did, and I loved it about you, because you were just you. And the thing
Right.
is, and this is what I've learned, is if I don't go around purposely pissing people off, I'm
No,
just me. But
no, I don't.
if
No.
who I
I don't
am,
either, but if I know I bother you, I'm gonna piss you the fuck off.
but if I know who I am and I'm true to me, and if you don't like that, then I don't need you in my life. And it took me a long time to learn that.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm just different. And if you can't be okay with me, then don't hang out with me. That's the way
No.
I look at it. Like, I have people really love me, or they just don't really like me. Like they don't,
It's so funny you should say, because I tell people right off the bat, when I see somebody trying to get to know me, I see friendship in the air, it's like hovering over a connection, getting ready to happen. I immediately, you know what I do? You know what I mean? You know my new slogan that I tell people? I said, look, sweetheart, I see we're gonna be friends. I'm an acquired taste. If you want to taste something different, I'm an acquired taste, because this is it. One thing I will assure you in the friendship, I will always be truthful to you. And I
Yes.
will always have your back as long as I know your intentions are right and we're clean and clear, we're good. I'm
Good.
simple. I'm
You
like
have
a
to be
dude. I'm
upfront.
like a dude trapped in a woman's body.
Girl all day. I'm very I have much masculine energy, and I'm okay with that. But there's a meme that I've loved and I've posted on my page since 2015, and it has Robert De Niro on it, and
Oh,
it
I love Robert
says,
De Niro.
um, "Many people will never like me, and I will never give a fuck." And it's a meme, and I'll share it. I saw it in my memories the other day,
I
and it's
love it.
true.
Though.
I love
And
it.
it's just like I'm not
He
everybody.
doesn't give a fuck either.
Because
You
you
know,
can't. You
and
can't.
that's just how. And it's not being rude, but sometimes you
No.
need to have that shock factor with people to wake
Yeah.
them up to realize what you think of me is not my business.
No.
What
No.
you think of me is not going to make or break me, and what you
Nope.
think of me is not going to influence me to say,
Nope.
wait a minute, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm going to
Nope.
say what I say. If I'm wrong and you say, Margie, I think you're wrong. Like I love the debates that the Badass Buddha have on live, and no, they're not rehearsed, because sometimes sometimes we do become stuck in our unauthorized living that we don't expand to learn differently.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say that sometimes we are set in certain ways that we think things, but no one is going to influence me to change my ways and how I'm instilling respect and acknowledgement for your elders into my children and my grandchildren. Saying bendición to the elders, it's just honorifics. It's
But
just
that's your
saying,
value.
hello, Mr. President.
Because
It's
it's
like
your
saying,
value.
priest, pastor, whatever the hell, right? But the thing is that that's just how I feel they need to know, because if they respect inside their door, at the minute they walk out the door, I'm gonna feel okay knowing that they're never gonna go out there and be so selfish and stuck in their world that they're gonna help an elderly woman cross the street, that they're gonna give their seat if they're on a
Right.
busy bus or subway. That starts at home. That's the acknowledgement of respecting your elders. So I'm never
But,
gonna
but,
change there.
but
Now,
don't you-
but then
don't
I'm cool. I'm a cool grandmother because my granddaughter tattoos
Yes.
me. So you know what? So either there's a balance of
But
allowing them to be who they are, but keeping that modicum of respect, that level, so that when they do go out in the world, we can relax because we did good.
But don't you think that because this is what you've taught them, that the level of respect that they show other people also though has a lot to do with their own self-respect. So it's
Right.
like if they don't respect themselves, then they are going to be disrespectful. Let discount the little stuff between a parent and the
But
child
that's
where
what
you
you're
don't
teaching
agree.
them. When
But
you're teaching them to respect their elders, you're teaching them to have self-respect.
right. But it also has to be it has to be instilled. Like it's, listen, you can be who you are, but you also have to be respectful to yourself. In the end, there's no reason a person would be disrespectful to somebody else when they are in
Secure.
alignment with that.
When they're secure.
Yes.
But see, being raised in Father Panic Village, the way we were raised from a white, pasty, blonde-haired Italian mama and a dark-skinned Indian-looking father, we were raised to, when my father and my mother came and said, the neighbor said, blah, 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 because we fought every day. But before they punished us, my father would say, so what happened? Tell me your side, because, I want to hear your side. So he always gave us that option to stand up for what we believed in, even though we could have got our ass whooped, or he realized, because he always said, he taught us three things consecutively, even in our adult life. One, believe nothing of what you hear, half of what you see, and everything of what you feel. So when he would hear that we did something, he would come and he would say, this is what I heard. Now tell me what happened. And he lived what he taught us in that part.
Now,
Because
see,
that's
that wasn't
exactly
how
what
I
you
was
do.
raised.
That's exactly what you do. You don't, but when you walk in on something, you're looking at half the story. So believe half of what you see and what you
And I
hear.
was raised, and I was raised speak when spoken to, so I wasn't
Yeah,
allowed to
or
say
don't look at
anything.
me when I'm speaking to
Right,
you.
I wasn't allowed.
Face
I
it.
wasn't allowed to speak at all. At
I was
all.
I was raised that it wasn't they didn't want to hear my side of the story. They
Right.
just made an assumption based on what they were told
And made a
then I
decision right
got
there
it.
and then.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Simple
That's
as
how I
that.
was
I had a
raised
cool
too.
And
dad.
that's not the way. That's not the way to be. And, I have a very small circle of people in my life. I don't need a large circle of people. My most important circle is my immediate family. The second point is people that I have been dealing with in a loving, caring, soulful relationships that I have. I'm looking for soulful relationships, soul to soul. I'm not looking for superficial relationships. I'm not your fair weather friend. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. So, you know what I mean? Soulful, right? You know what I'm saying? Like soulful relationships is the meaning of life. It's true. It's a true way of being. It's a soul consciousness. We're living in, I'm living in soul consciousness. Okay. That's very important to me. So when I recognize another soul and we connect, that's an indicator to me that, hey, we're on this path together. We're going to do this. You're a great human being. I want to get to know you. You probably want to get to know me, and, birds of a feather flock together. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's just where I'm at right now in the stage of my life. I'm not taking any nonsense or any bullshit from anybody. That's not my stuff. That's your stuff. So, unfortunately you have to work through your stuff. I'm going to keep living unauthorized.
Yes.
Okay. Unapologetic. Okay. I'm going to continue to transform, because that's what's happening. We have stages of life, right? We have stages of life that we're transforming to. I'm approaching my 50s, right? So I'm transforming, right? Our bodies change every 7 years, right? So we're transforming, right? And I'm going to enjoy the transformational process. And if people are there when I'm transforming, then great. If not, people are in your life for a season sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes they're in life for a quarter. Maybe they're in semesters. Let's use semesters. Sometimes someone's in your life just for a semester.
Or one day.
One day.
I had a friend, she was only with me during the spring term, and then I didn't see her anymore. So you have to look at people. If they're in your life for a semester, if they're in your life for a season, if they're in your life if it's a 5-year plan, I took out a 3-year warranty, and it's 3 years. Well, my year's up. Shit, fuck it, right? So it's over, right? So you didn't renew the warranty, right? So it's over, right? Was it worth it? You know what? I'm throwing their couch out. I'll buy a new one. I don't want to renew the warranty.
That's it.
Right. Practice the art of detachment. And you will live once you know you're a chosen one of living unauthorized, you have to practice the art of detachment. Because
then coming up.
Well,
that's correct.
You want to practice the art of non-attachment. Non-attachment is mindfulness. Detachment is totally it's
okay. So all right,
we have a show coming up on that.
But you still want to love people and still be there and be that genuine person.
Yes.
Non-attachment allows you to have empathy, allows you to have compassion.
Yes.
Detachment makes you apathetic. So
that's true. Yes. Okay. So thank you for that.
You know what? You got to live like there's nothing that's going to hold you back from walking away 30 seconds flat from whatever it be. People, places, and things. That's being unauthorized.
But
that's
you
not
also
saying,
have
but they're going to feel bad.
You also have to understand that you are a work in progress every day. It doesn't end.
Every single day. And that's
every single day. That sign doesn't come down. Them signs that work. You know what? Keep that fucking helmet hat on, because you don't know when a fucking brick is going to fall off the building.
And the crayon, yeah.
That's right.
Keep that hat on. Anyway, I have to get to work, so I do have to leave because I'm in the parking lot of my job. But I wanted to say thank you, and thank you for confirming I'm living unauthorized, unapologetic, and I am free as a bird. For 2022, honey, I am flying and soaring through the sky.
Right.
And thank you, ladies. I know you guys, your time is coming. I can't wait to see you on the big screen. And all I want to do is just give me some backstage tickets. That's all. I just want backstage tickets.
VIP.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right. We love you,
I love
Liza.
you, ladies. And everybody that's on, love everybody. Thank you. Live.
Our first guest for 2022 was Liza. So this is
right. I know it's going to be a good year, girl. Yeah, you go. Badass Buddha, gladiator guru, right?
That's it.
Bye,
we love you, Liza. Have a great day. All right. So that was fantastic. What a great way to ring in the.
Look at our Janice. Hello, Jenny. My sister's on. Snap it, Liza. What do you mean, Jonathan?
She was on a roll. I think he was just like saying.
Hey, next time you come down, we'll visit her massage place in where is it? In Yonkers?
Yeah, she's in the Yonkers area. Yeah.
Yeah. That was wonderful. That is exactly the conversation that needed to be made. I think this conversation, for those that are still on, be aware, I believe that the Badass Buddha and I will touch on this. We should touch on this very title every 3 months. It's just a reminder and a push. And if we're going to be the voices for those, the voices of a sunrise, for those that are still in their slumber and they don't know where they're going, I think this conversation needs to be had because it is something that people need to understand that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that at any age, as long as you're still breathing, you're never too old to live unauthorized. You're
Yes,
never too old
that's
to,
right.
to pick up the pieces and then put them right dead center. Says, this is what I want. And this is how I'm going to get there. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to be traveling this road of knowing by myself for a minute. And that's going to be okay. So, with that,
Sorry.
it's okay. It's okay, Mama.
People just interrupt.
That's okay. Thank God the dogs are sleeping because I'm in my sister, so normally they're like at it. But for
So
everybody, our Janice, Jonathan, our diehard,
yes, share, like,
masculine
subscribe.
energy that is always,
Oh, we
always
love it.
welcome, needed, and
Yes.
wanted. We thank you for that, and for every, there was a Francine Hubbard that came on. Thank you. And you know what? Let's just look into this. Vivir sin permiso, live without permission, have an unauthorized living space in your mind, in your heart, and in your spirit, and then follow it. I don't care how curvy that road is your road. Follow it with gumption, follow it with desire, and follow it with good energy and light. And with that,
well, before we go, we have 3 minutes left. So why don't we make sure that we didn't do our intention. So let's get that intention and that mantra. So the intention, my dear, go ahead.
Be grateful.
And
you don't need nothing. You don't want nothing. You're just grateful.
Yes. So set your intention to be intentional and be grateful today. And the mantra, for those of you that are on or listening, put your arms
Repeat
up.
after her.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am a disruptor.
I am totally a motherfucking disruptor.
I said the opposite. I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded. Humana.
I am magically orgasmic.
What day, mi gente? Magically orgasmic. Hoo-hoo.
And I am beyond authentic.
And I am beyond authentic.
Yep.
Keeping it real. Every step of the way.
Yep.
So and what's in your cup today? We didn't talk about, what? This is Viva Cafe con Leche. And I'm going to apologize to those that are still on.
I just swapped it out a little bit today. Been drinking your stuff, but I swapped it out a little bit today.
And let me tell you that we're going to get back every Tuesday to describing what coffee means. Coffee means everything. It's a big staple after my gratitude prayer in the morning. It is like get up all cockeyed and shit to make my coffee. So today in my taza, I had Café Bustelo with my froth milk. So yeah, I had that. And one thing I was going to say is don't forget your roots from the conversation earlier. Be that tree. Find out what's the tree of your month. Everybody knows what's their stone, what's their astrological sign. I'm a fire sign. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm Topaz. And you know what? I come from the roots of an elder tree. Learn where your roots come from and how deep they go. And remember, as Carl Jung said, before we can reach up to heaven, we have to use the other hand and dig down deep into hell. It is what's in the middle that counts. So make yourself count where you stand as who you are, who you were born to be. And all should be fine with your world. Stay true to who you are. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know where it is, call me. Yes. We'll work it out. Yes. That's what we're here for.
That's right.
So yes, Jonathan, it's true. Be a disruptor, which you are. I can't wait to have you on. And with that,
yes. Now we're done. All right, everybody, have a fabulous weekend. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, and be careful when the snow coming. And remember, mi gente, Breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.